with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News NOWCAST.
Good evening, I'm Haley Potter. Thanks for joining us for tonight's edition of the Erie News Nowcast. We have an update on the condition of Erie native and former Pennsylvania Governor Tom Ridge. Ridge remains hospitalized tonight after suffering a stroke in Maryland yesterday. A spokesman for Ridge says he was alert when he arrived at the hospital and underwent a procedure to remove a blood clot. The 75-year-old Ridge was taken by ambulance from his home in Bethesda, Maryland to the hospital. At last check, his condition is described as critical but stable. Ridge was the governor of Pennsylvania from 1995 to 2001 before being named the nation's first Homeland Security Secretary following the attacks of 9/11. And the number of Americans applying for unemployment rose last week. It's the first time that there have been a rise in unemployment claims since April of this year. Roughly 37,000 people applied for benefits this week compared to the prior week. The weekly number of applicants has dropped for the better part of the year. Even with the slight increase, today's job number suggests the economy is rebounding from the pandemic recession. While national claims were on the rise, Pennsylvania saw a decrease in initial claims last week. Continuing coverage tonight on a local nonprofit that helps out some of the most vulnerable people in our community is in desperate need of additional workers. Voices for Independence and its staff members serve people with intellectual and physical disabilities. They provide service to 27 counties throughout Northwest Pennsylvania, including 370 people right here in Erie. But the nonprofit is currently short-staffed by about 300 caregivers. So they're now offering a $300 a week bonus on top of a $10.95 an hour salary for those new employees. CEO Shauna Eakin says the pandemic has shined a light on the need for this additional help.
Everything that we take for granted could do that with their assistance. And unfortunately, the pandemic has made it so that we are very, very short-staffed. People still have the need, but the workers aren't there to fill those needs.
And new today, the U.S. is investing more than $3 billion to develop antiviral pills. The money would fund the development of pills for COVID-19 and other dangerous viruses that could turn into pandemics. The bill would be used to minimize symptoms after infection. They're in development and could begin arriving by year's end, pending the completion of some clinical trials. Top disease expert Anthony Fauci says the new program would invest, quote, accelerating things that are already in progress, end quote, for COVID-19, but also would work to innovate new therapies for other dangerous viruses, too. As of today, more than 161,000 people have been fully vaccinated across our region. About 60% of adults in our region have had at least one shot of a COVID-19 vaccine. Erie County leads the way with roughly 55% of adults fully vaccinated. The state says 57.8% of adults have been fully vaccinated in the Keystone State. The state will lift the mask mandate for non-vaccinated people within the next 2 weeks. For the latest COVID-19 facts and figures, check out our website, erienewsnow.com. The Erie VA Medical Center is holding a walk-in COVID-19 clinic for veterans, spouses, caregivers this weekend. The walk-in clinic will be held Saturday from 9 to 11:30 a.m. VA staff will be administering the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is a single-dose vaccine. It's open to all veterans, spouses, caregivers, or civilian health benefit carriers. You can find more information and a link to register on our website, erienewsnow.com. The 2021 Bass Nation Northeast Championship is set to cast off here next week. Erie will host the Fishing Derby Championship on June 23rd through the 25th. Participants will check in and weigh in each day at the Perry Monument on Presque Isle State Park. More than 200 anglers represent 11 states across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. The top boater and non-boater from each state will advance to the BASS National Championship, where the top 3 anglers will qualify for the Bassmaster Classic on South Carolina's Lake Hartwell. And Erie News Now is keeping you up to date on all of the latest fairs and festivals in our region. Tonight we have an update on the Erie County Fair at Wattsburg and how they're looking for participants for one of their biggest events. We sat down with the current fair queen and she tells us the fair is a complete go for this year. Exciting news for them. Everything will be pretty much back to normal. They struggled for a while to find a ride company because of a lack of workers, but they recently secured one. The only difficulty they are facing is finding girls to sign up for their Fair Queen contest. They have fewer participants signed up than ever before, and Morgan Larson, the current queen, says it's important to understand the background of the contest and sign up.
We need applicants, and I'm not sure whether it's just a lack of interest or because of COVID, so we're really trying to promote it a little bit more this year. We get girls who think that this pageant is just like a full-on beauty pageant, and they think you have to know everything and anything about the fair, but that's not it.
She'll explain exactly what it is tonight on Erie News Now at 11, and I'll have that full story for you. Thanks for joining us for the Erie News Nowcast. Join us for our next news at 10 p.m. on the CW and 11 p.m. on WICU and WSEE. Have a great night.